start a new lesson, that is a lesson number 1 from Saffron second semester. The name of a lesson is The Girl Who Hated Books. Now this lesson is written by Manjusha Pavagi. Come on students, first before I start with the lesson, we will have some warm-up activity. So here is a little poem that we have to say in chorus. Books are great, books are fun, books let you do what you have never done. Read a good mystery, solve a crime, read about history, go back in time, read about a lost dog, where can it be? Read about a giant frog under the sea. Read a very funny book, tears go away. Read a bright sunny book on a rainy day. Books are great, books are fun. Let's read books, everyone. So now students, I am going to start a lesson. Now this is a lesson about a little girl named Meena. Okay. Once there was a girl named Meena. If you look up her name in a book, you would find that it meant fish in ancient Sanskrit. But Meena did not know that because she never looked up anything anywhere. That means we can say the Meena hates book. She had to read and she hated books. So how many of you hates books? No, we should never hate books because we get so many of the information, right? So now see what's happening with her. They are always in the way, she said. And this was the truth because in her house books were everywhere. So the books were scattered everywhere in a house, in a table, in a cupboard, in a drawer, in a kitchen, in the fridge, we can say. Not just on bookshelves and beside table where books usually are, but in all sorts of places where books usually aren't. So, where you keep the books, students? Yes, we keep the book in a bookshelf or near the table, right, or beside the table. But here the thing is different. Here the books are placed in unusual places where we cannot think of it. There were books in drawer and decks, in cupboard and chest. There were books on the sofa and books on the stairs, books stuffed in the fireplace and stacked on the chairs. Stacked means what? Arrange one on the top of other. So here in a picture you can see now there is a book that is stacked on, that is kept one upon another on the bookshelf, on the table, on the corner of the sofa, even on the bookshelf. Everywhere you can see the book is being scattered out. Worse still, her parents were always bringing home more books. Now, who was bringing the books? Mina's parent. They kept buying books and borrowing books and ordering books from catalogs. What is the meaning of catalogs? The catalog is that we can say a book with a list of all things that you can buy from a shop or from a company. They read at breakfast and lunch and dinner. So they were very fond of reading throughout the day, throughout the lunch and dinner, breakfast. Every time the Mina's parent used to read the book. But when they asked Meena if she wanted to read, she would stamp her feet and shout, "I hate books." And when they tried to read out loud to her. She would put her hand over her ears and shout even louder, I hate books. That means whenever Mina's parent requests her to read the book, what she used to do? She used to stamp her feet. Now some of us have a habit, yes? When we become anger, so what we do? We stamp on our feet. And what she used to shout? I hate books. And whenever the parents try that they will read and Mina will listen, what she used to do? She used to close her ears with the help of hand, and she used to even shout even louder, I hate books. There was probably only one person in the world who had books more than Mina, and that was her cat. So, who was there another person in the world except Mina? That was her cat. And what is the name of a cat? Max. A long time ago, when he was just a kitten means a small cat, and Atlas had fallen on his tail. Atlas means what, student? A joke that we have, where the book which contain maps, world maps, and other information regarding about the different countries, state, river. Okay, so that book is called as Atlas. It had bent the tip, and from then on he tried to stay on top of the books rather than below them. So, what happened one day? The atlas had fallen on his tail. Whose tail? Max's tail. Okay? And what happened to his tail? It has bent the tape. So from that day onwards, what the Max tried to do? The Max tried to stay on the top of the books rather than below them. One morning after Meena moved all the books out of the sink to brush her teeth. Now see the condition. She has to move out the books that was also there near the sink. She went to the kitchen to get breakfast for herself and Max. First, she climbed onto a stack of Encyclopedia. So, to get a breakfast also, she has to climb on Encyclopedia. Now, what is an encyclopedia? It is a type of a book where you get an information. Nowadays, you have an internet facility. Yes, you get information everywhere. Easy information, we get it in a Wikipedia, but previously we have to gather the information from the book called Encyclopedia. So she could reach Celx. So when she opened the fridge and moved a pail of magazine to get the milk. See children, in a fridge what we put usually? We put our foods, the eating items, right? But here the fridge was completely filled up with the books. To get a milk, she has to remove the book from the fridge. She poured some for herself and some for Max. Max, she called, breakfast is ready. But Max didn't come. She tried again. Max, she called, breakfast is ready. He still didn't come. Where could he be? She wondered. She looked in the bathtub and behind the dryer. She looked under the stair and on the top of the clock. She found more books, but she didn't find Max. So she kept on shouting for the Max because the breakfast was ready. But she could not find the Max. She was wondering where the Max has gone. To search a Max, she went to bathtub, behind the dryer, and also under the stair and top of the clock. But what she found? She found more and more books. But she didn't find Max. Suddenly she heard a loud meow meow. She ran into the dining room, and there he was stuck on the top of the tallest stack of books in the house. It was made up all the books her parent kept buying her, and she kept refusing to read. So where was the Max? The Max was in the dining room. And what happened to the Max? He was stuck on the top of the tallest text of the book that was being kept by her parents. At the bottom were big, shiny picture books from when she was a baby. In the middle were alphabet books and nursery rhymes. So you can see your children. So right from the day when she was very small, the parents started buying a book of a shiny pictures. So there was also a alphabet books, nursery rhymes books, yes. At the top, right by the ceiling, were fairy tales and adventurous stories. So most of you like to read the fairy tales and adventurous stories? Yes. So all kinds of the books were being bought by Mina's parent. They were all covered in dust. Don't worry, Max, Mina called up to him. I will rescue you. She started to climb the pile of books. At first, it was easy because the picture books had hard cover, and she felt as if she were climbing stairs. But when she reached the paper bag, her foot slipped on a book of poetry. So, what the Mina told to the Max? Not to worry, that she will rescue him. But as she started climbing on the pile of the books, what happened? At first it was very easy to climb because all the pictures books were having a hard cover. But as she started climbing and climbing, what happened? Suddenly the covers became very soft. She reached to the paper bag, and what happened? Her foot slipped from a book of a poetry. Her foot slipped on a book of a poetry. She lost her balance and started to slide. Clash! The book went flying. They fell every which way. The binding cracking open up for the every first time, and the pages flipping apart. So what happened? As she slipped from the poetry book, so all the books that was being stuck up, all were being scattered on the floor. As they fell, strange things began to happen. People and animals started falling out of the pages and tumbling to the ground. What happened suddenly? Now, have you ever seen the character of the books are coming out? Yes, as the book slept, as the book have been scattered, what happened? All the character that was present on the books, they started coming out, and they also fell on the ground. They dropped one on the top of the other, scattering the books and toppling the chair. Scattering means throwing all over, and toppling means causing something to lose balance and fall. So here you can see the children, the picture. Every character is coming out from the book. That is depend upon the book. So here is a monkey, duck, princess, rabbit, hare. We can see the elephant. Yes. So frog, everything. Every character was scattered around the entire room. There were prince and princess, fairies and frog, then a wolf and a purple giraffe, and a troll on a log. There were elephant emperors, and a bunch of monkeys twisted up in themselves. But most of all, there were rabbit. So, who were the characters? The characters were prince, princess, fairies, frog, a wolf, a purple giraffe, all started trolling. Trolling means they all started that they are the imaginary cave dwelling creatures, usually very ugly. Yes? And a troll on a log. They were elephant. Now some animals like elephant, emperors, and a bunch of monkey, they also twisted up in themselves. But most of all, there were rabbits, falling this way and that, wild rabbits and white rabbits, and rabbit with hats. Yes, so you can see here, children's. Mina sat there in the middle of it all, too surprised to move. I thought books were full of words, not rabbit. Now it was quite surprising thing for the Mina. Why? Because we all know that books are full of words. But what was coming out? The character, the different types of the animals and the persons were coming out. She said, as six more came rolling out of out of a book beside her. By now, she couldn't recognize the dining room at all. So the entire structure of the dining room has been changed. It has changed into a forest because you can see all the wild animals and the different types of the characters. The elephant was balancing on a coffee table, juggling the good china. Juggling means what? Throwing and catching a many object in the air, one after another. So, where you can find this thing the animal is doing? Mainly in the circus. The monkey had torn down the curtains and were using them as caps. So what the monkey had did? They had torn down the curtains and they were using as a cap. So there might be a book of a cap seller. And the rabbit were nibbling on the table legs. Nibbling means they were taking a small bites. Okay. Stopped, cried Mina. Go back. But there was so much going on that no one heard her speak. She grabbed the nearest rabbit and tried to stuff him into a cookbook, but that scared him so much he wriggled out of Mina's hand and ran away. Now Mina was also fed up. So what she did? She cried loudly to stop, but no one was hearing her. Okay. So what the Mina did? She grabbed the nearest rabbit and what she was trying? She was trying to stuff him in a cookbook. Cookbook means the book where we get a different type of a recipe. But what happened to the rabbit? The rabbit wrinkled. Wrinkled means it twisted and turned out from the hand of Mina. Why? Because the rabbit was quite afraid. She opened another book and 4 ducks flew out. She slammed it and shut again. Slammed it means close with force. This won't work, said Mina. I don't know who goes in which book. Because why? Why she don't know? Because she has never read the book. She thought for a minute. I know, she said. I will go to everyone and ask them where they belong. So she got an idea. What idea? That she will go and ask to everyone from which books they belong. She started with one strange creature she didn't recognize at all. Who are you? She asked. A is for earthwork, the animal said angrily. and march off in search of her alphabet book. So from which book the creatures belong? The creatures belong from a alphabet book. Then she had another idea. She picked up the nearest book and began to read aloud. Once upon a time, Meena began in a land far, far away. So, now she got another idea. Now, what idea she has got? She picked up the nearest book and began to read aloud. Now, she has to read the book because she has to find out the character from where the characters belong. Okay, so she started reading the book one by one. Once upon a time, Meena began in a land far, far away. Slowly the creatures stopped jumping and chattering. They came closer and closer to her. What happened next? Soon they were all sitting in a circle around her, listening to her. So what happened? Suddenly the situation has changed. As she started reading the book, all the animals, all the character, all the creatures which were jumping or making hustle and bustle, they started sitting, they stopped their jumping, and what they did? They made a circle very closer to the Meena, and soon what happened? They were all sitting very near to Meena by making a circle, and they started listening to her. When Meena reached the top of second page, the cat in the circle jumped up. That's us, they cried. So what happened? When the Meena reached to the top of the second page, the cat which was sitting nearby, what happened? They jumped up, and what they said? They cried, that's our page. So that's our book. They leap up out of the circle, jump into her lap, and disappear into the book. Meena clapped it shut before they could pop out again. So, as the cat cried out, that is our book. What the cat did? They leap out of the circle. They came out of the circle, and where they went? They jumped into the lap of Meena. Okay, they jump into the Meena's lap, into her lap, and suddenly disappear into the book. So Meena was very happy. She clapped it, and what she did? Quickly she closed the book so that they could not pop out, they could not come out again. She grabbed another story. One by one, she began reading all her books, and one by one, the creatures found out where they belonged. At last, there was just one little rabbit in a little blue coat left in the room. Meena slowly picked up a book. It was the Tale of Peter Rabbit. Maybe I could keep this rabbit with me, she thought. She was beginning to feel lonely now that everyone else was gone. Now, slowly, so Meena, what she thought? Instead of reading this book, so that she can keep the rabbit with her because she was now alone. But the little rabbit stood in front of her, shifting nervously from the food. 2 foot and twitching his nose. Now Rabbit was really confused in a worried way. And what he was doing? He was twisting his nose. Twitching means moving a sudden jerking manner. That means he was sending a message to Meena that he also wants to return back in his own world. He was anxious to get back home. So with a big seize, Meena opened the last book. The rabbit hopped in, and with a flash of white cotton tail, he was gone. The house was quiet. Max sat on some book washing his face. Meena ceased. That means took a deep breath. I will never see those rabbits again, she said. Then she noticed that the books were still there, laying around her. She started to smile. When her parents came in that afternoon, they could not believe their eyes. Not because the curtains were gone, the dishes were broken, and the table legs were chewed up, but because there, sitting in the middle of the room, was Meena. She was reading a book. So, by afternoon, when the Meena's parents returned to home, they cannot believe in their eyes. Why? Because what Meena was doing? Meena was sitting in the middle of the room surrounded with the books, and what she was doing? She was reading the book. Okay, children? That means you have understood the lesson very well, that we should never hate the book, because in a book we get a different type of information. The book is a true friend of us. Now, I will move. Now, here today we are going to learn about the present continuous tense. The present continuous tense is used to talk about action and situation that are going on at the moment of speaking. The verb used is the ing form. Playing, here see, the ing is added to the play. Walk, ing is added to the walk. And we use is, am, are before the verb. So, these are the auxiliary verb you can say. I am walking to school. They are walking with me. Now, look at the picture. Answer the question using the hint. Use the present continuous tense. Okay. The first one is done for you, student. What is the man doing? The hint word is water and plant. He is watering the plant. What is the lion doing? The hint word is chase the hare. It is chasing the hare. What games are the children playing? Play hide and seek. They are playing hide and seek. What is Lina doing? Help mother. She is helping her mother. Sometimes there are both main and helping verb in a sentence. The main verb shows the action. The helping verb comes before it. It helps the main verb. It does not show the action. They are eating lunch. So, here the main verb is eating. And what is the helping verb? Are. Meena is looking for Max. So, looking is the main verb, okay, and is the helping verb. So, now we have to circle the main verb and then underline the helping verb. So, in the first sentence, the cat is climbing on the shelf. So, what is the main verb here, children? Climbing, and helping verb is. The rabbit is nibbling the leg of the table. So, the main verb is nibbling and is the helping verb. The monkeys are tearing the curtains. Tearing, the main verb, and are is a helping verb. The earthwork is marching about. Marching is the main verb and is the helping verb. Meena is enjoying her book. Enjoying is a main verb and is a helping verb. Now, students, we will see a simple future tense. We use the simple future tense for action that will happen in future. The word will is used when we talk about the future. Like word, it will be tomorrow, next week. We will do chapter 7 tomorrow. You can use I shall, that is equal to I will, or we shall, that is equal to we will. Okay, students? Now, we will complete the sentence. My uncle will give me a watch next year. Manju and her sister will wear their new clothes tomorrow. Rohit will be 9 years old in December. I shall get up early tomorrow. We shall have a holiday next week. Now students, here we have to use negative prefix. We can form the opposite word by adding some letter known as a prefix at the beginning of the word. Look at this word pair, kind, unkind. So what I have used? Un. Like, dislike. So what I have used? This. Pure, impure. What I have used here? I am. Complete, incomplete. Okay students. So like this we have to use to make it a positive word. So clear, what will be the opposite word of clear? Unclear. Tidy, untidy. Here you have to use un. Patient, impatient. Correct, incorrect. Possible, impossible. Obey, disobey. Visible, invisible. Sure, unsure. Okay students, you might have understood very well the lessons as well as grammar. Thank you and we will see you on the next session. Bye.